Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are NC.
Royals baseball on a beautiful day in Kansas City. It's Kids Day at the K. The kids got a weather demonstration before the game, and we have absolutely perfect weather for the Royals and the Chicago White Sox. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joel Goldberg is coming up in just a moment. If you weren't paying attention to the Royals for the first 25 games of the season and you decided that last night was the night you wanted to get reacquainted with the team, you'd probably say, same old Royals.
That's the bling of the ring, Royals. That's exactly how they brought that. 3 phases, 3 areas consistent in, you're going to win. And that's what they're looking for. Get back to 500 in all 3 areas. Pitching, it all starts on the bump. Carnes was great. I say Nate was great. And then the offense came through just in time. It was Moose. Then it was Kane. Just right on down the line. His little frenzy hitting broke out here at the K last night, just in the nick of time. Esky, don't forget me. I'm coming back. He's starting to shorten up his swing. Oh, but this was incredible. The Moose got loose, showing his skills, beating one of the fastest runners to the base there. That was special. To see that, I can't wait for more of that today.
Eric Hosmer also chipped in last night. Is he back? We'll discuss that when we return. On Fox Sports Kansas City is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. For all, for less. Last year was a career season for Eric Hosmer. He had 25 home runs for the first time in the big leagues. He drove in over 100 for the first time, so it's only natural for him to expect more, for the fans to expect more. But trying to do that may have hurt him in the first month.
I think it did for sure, and he's be the first to tell you that. But when you hear the term that hitters use, let the ball travel, That means let it go as deep to the catcher's glove as you can. You see the ball longer, and using the opposite field really is key. That's what his game is all about. High or low or mid-center cut balls, it doesn't matter. He's going to pull up, and when he has to, when he sees an off-speed pitch, but he's been going the other way, keeping his hands inside the ball, and it's making a big difference. Look at those numbers.
And speaking of a guy making a difference, when we come back, Joel will tell us about.
Holy moly, can you believe Stromboli?
The yelling, screaming, enthusiastic kids here for school day at the K, looking for a series win. They've already had the great science experiments on the field, now looking for some offense and good pitching. Joel Goldberg back here at Kauffman Stadium. The Royals bullpen has the 12th best ERA in the American League, ERA over 5. But if you take out 3 bad games, 1 against the White Sox, 2 against the Twins, they've got a 3.24 ERA. You could say the same thing about Matt Strom. Take away the start of his season, sure you can't, but he has been so good since. Began the year really in trouble. He's at a 9.82 ERA now. First 3 games, 7 runs in an inning and a third, 6 walks, no strikeouts, goes to the minors, comes back, and since then, 1 run in 6 innings pitched. There's the big number for me, 8 strikeouts and no walks. He gave up a meaningless home run last night, but that was it. He's not available today, Ned Yost says, because he went 2 innings last night. Everyone else is. And maybe Ian Kennedy can get his first win of the year. Ryan and Hutt back after this.
Kansas City is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by the Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest lasting full-size pickup on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. School day at the K, and with a win today, the Royals take 3 out of 4 from the White Sox. And then the Indians are in town over the weekend. Ian Kennedy against Derek Holland. The first pitch is coming up next. Now we have sunshine, 62 degrees. High temperature is going to be about 66. And then we'll be into the low to mid 70s over the weekend with Cleveland in town. Chicago White Sox are no longer in first place. The Minnesota Twins are now in first. So Chicago's a half game back. Todd Frazier was supposed to play at third base. He was scratched late with back spasms, tightness in his back. So Matt Davidson will bat seventh, and he'll be at third base. Davidson is 0 for his last 17. Frazier was really swinging the bat well.
Yeah, they're not going to miss him. Really, first place is important, but really not more important than October 1st. That's when you want to be in first place. This man right here, Ian Kennedy, could help them do that. Now look at that opponent's batting average, 159. Are you kidding me? That's best for second best in the league. He's been stellar. Now this is this season so far, and he's used him in what he's used in his 5 starts. Fastball, changeup, curve, slider. He's going to use a lot of fastballs. Anytime a pitcher's over 60% heaters, that means he loves it, he trusts it, and it's a good one. 4-seamer, no 2-seam fastball. Change, curve, slider. He's going to mix them all in. Our Ford around the horn defense, we're going to show you +7 runs defensive save. That's fifth best in the Major League. And you know, it's interesting how they actually keep this statistic. Some of us don't really know, but save those runs on defense. You save the pitcher's pitch count, and you help him get a W.
Crew chief Bill Miller, his 19th year as a big league umpire, will call the balls and strikes. Kerwin Danley at first. Todd Tishner from Garden City will be at second, and Adam Hammery is at third. Last night, Adam Hammery was back at the plate and had a very pitcher-friendly strike zone. Tyler Saladino takes a whack at the first pitch of the game, and we are underway. This is Kennedy's first start against the White Sox. The Royals' previous 3 pitchers in this series, Vargas, Duffy, and Carnes, were making their second start against the Sox in a week. 0-2 on Saladino.
It's a little 94. He's a little bit pumped up this afternoon here in front of all these kids that are having school day at the K. He'll average around 92 miles an hour with his fastball, but there was some 94 there. It's got some giddy up, and you can see Saladino. He's a little bit behind that fastball. It's got a little bit of late life to it. It's not a 2-seam fastball. I've read in some publications that he uses a 2 and 4 seam fastball. That's not correct. He only uses 4 seam, and he gets similar action as a 2-seamer, which has a little bit of ride up and in to the righties.
Breaking ball down and away. Another foul ball. The wind will be a factor, blowing out of the northwest left to right, and you can see the jersey of Ian Kennedy flapping in the wind as he's looking in for the sign from Salvador Perez. .94 up and away, 2-2.
Saladino doing what he wants to do, being a leadoff hitter, milk some pitches, see him. Nearly all fastballs, 1 breaking ball. Saladino 3 for 7 in his career. More than 1 finger with nobody on base is more like a breaking ball. But he stayed heat. See how he put 3 fingers down first, and Kennedy shook him off. Said, "No, I'm staying with the heater." And look at this placement. Whoa, Saladino, you got to go.
He has now allowed 17 hits in 31 2/3 innings. Our Toyota League leaders. That figures out to a 159 opponent's batting average. Second best in the major leagues. Look at Irvin Santana. Man, the league's hitting 120 against him. Shallow left. The wind knocks it down. And Melky Cabrera is on with 1 out.
Sure does help when you know what's coming. 66% heaters, so you can just go up there looking for that. Now he just fought that off. That's some lucky hitting there, but he'll take it. He'll dropped in there. Wind blowing from left field to right field, knocked it down like you said. There's the hug. I need a bucket up here, please. Oh, you're nauseous. Whatever.
One on, 1 out. Jose Abreu. How many guys did you hug at first base, Bud, in your long career?
I never even touched the opponent. Never. And if they touched me, don't touch me, I'd tell them. Get your hands off me. Well, the game's changed. It's different now. And that's okay. I'm all right with it.
Breaking ball 0-2 on Abreu. He ruined the Royals' shot at a combined 1-hit shutout last night. There were 2 down in the 9th inning. Carnes, Moylan, and Strom had held the White Sox to 1 hit in 8 2/3 innings, and then Abreu homered to left. Good numbers against Kennedy, and he's really swinging the bat well on the White Sox current road trip.
He likes that right center field. There it is there, a little bit tardy. But that shot he hit last night, wow, that was a bolt. Put a dent in the State Farm neighborhood sign out there in the Royals bullpen. Down 0-2, don't give him anything too good. Never want to when you're ahead in the count like that. See if he'll swing out of the zone.
That's what they tried to do. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Take a look at him jumping on Matt Strom's fastball last night. Knew it was coming. Oh, it's breaking ball. Hello. You tried a little backdoor breaker on him and didn't last.
2-2 on Abreu. It's a long road trip for the White Sox, 10 games. They started in Detroit, finish here today, and then on to Baltimore. They are 3-3 during the trip, and Abreu has swung the bat well. To the gap, deep, and gone. Jose Abreu is now homered in back-to-back at bats, and Chicago takes a 2-0 lead in the first inning.
Kennedy will have a tendency to give up the long ball if the ball's not just above the belt. If it's around thigh high, see where Salvi is? Salvi's up. He wants it up, and it wasn't. It's thigh high, just above the knees. And I mean, you hit a ball on the line like that out of the K, that hit speed had to be over 115.
Into a crosswind.
Oh.
And everything is measured now. You've got hit speed, you have trajectory, right? The launch angle, the apex, the highest point. Garcia grounds out to short. That was not much of a launch angle, and that didn't have much of an apex. That was just a line drive over the wall.
Excuse me for being a couple of miles an hour off. The hit speed was 113.
With an 18-degree angle.
Thanks for telling me that.
Yep.
I need to know that. But that'll tell you. No, really, that's impressive. I'm starting to get that angle. That means it wasn't very high off the ground. Okay, right here, do you see this? It's right underneath us here. This thing, it's called a TrackMan. It's a big computer in the sky, and it reads all that stuff. I mean, this just happened here a few years ago. They got this thing. I used to wonder what the heck, what is that? And you know, that's modern technology that's able to gauge all that stuff. Spin rate, hit speed.
Never got higher than 55 feet.
Oh, man.
I mean, typically we're talking at least 100 feet, right? 95 to 100 feet. 1-2 on Leury Garcia.
Any hitter loves this pitch there. Fastball. Look at that now. Everything we showed you, you can still see the ball. It's in your picture. Kane just turned and looked.
Kennedy gets the next two after the 2-run home run. So the Royals down before they come to the plate. Merrifield, Moustakas, and Kane are coming up. Inning last night, and now he's homered in the first inning today. Here's the Royals lineup. Derek Holland last faced the Tigers on Saturday, and they did not have one left-hand bat in there against him. But Ned Yost going to stick with his regulars, Moustakas and Eric Hosmer. And the Royals are starting to warm up at the plate, both as a team and individually. Kia puts us in the driver's seat. There's 5 guys. Really want about at least 3 or 4 swinging the bat well, and right now the Royals have at least 5.
Yeah, we would much rather show this on April 4th than May 4th. But look, it just sometimes it doesn't work for you. Take the first month off, and now they're starting to heat up, and that's a beautiful thing to see. The offense going with that good pitching. The Royals going to have their hands full today. This young man here, his first time he's in a different uniform in his career. He's liking it. Opponent's only hit 204. You see that number? That's really small. Look at that. He's going to use that to righties a lot. But one of his keys will be that fastball inside on right-handers. Now the Royals have 3 lefties in their lineup, but he's going to come in on righties and keep them off the plate. Fastball, slider, curve, change. See, he's way under 60%. Tells me he's going to try to finesse. He's going to try to, trick guys. Saw Kennedy 66% fastballs. That's what he's going to. So when you're facing a finesse guy like him, you got to think middle and think opposite field on him. You can't try to pull that, and then you'll react on a mistake. They're going to come in right here. See, there it is. That's a good pitch that's working for him against righties. Lynn's going to take it out of here now.
Mother Nature helped out right there.
So Merrifield in the right, he'll go back to the dugout and say, fellas, look, lay off of that. It's not a strike. You see the angle? It's not like he's over the top. That ball's just placed where he wants it. Now, he has a good mentor in Jose Quintana. Quintana, he pitched those Royals inside masterfully the other night. And that's good. It opens up the outer half of the plate for backdoor breakers and changeups.
Here's the changeup.
Very next pitch comes right back after that inside heater, pulls the string on the changeup. And that's what that's designed for. Very good pitch. White Sox defense, Tyler Saladino, first started short this year. Let him go. He can play. I like his defense. He's a guy who likes to play, man. Good range, decent arm, good player. Especially when he turns his mustache into handlebars. It's a lot better.
Oh, 0-1 on Mike Moustakas, who drove in the Royals' first run. They never relinquished the lead, so he gets credit for the game-winning RBI. He has 4 this year, which is tied for the most in the American League. 0-2. Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. He's a handful, but as Hud said, Moustakas, Hosmer, and Gordon are all in there today. Brandon Moss is not in the lineup. 3 pitches, and Moustakas is the Royals' second strikeout victim.
And this is a confident Derek Holland. Okay, I saw him a couple days ago when he comes in here. Now that's exactly where you want to put that. He's from Newark, Ohio. That's where my wife Jennifer is from. And I got to know him a long time ago, and he was right when he went from Newark Catholic High School there, and he signed with the Rangers. I knew him way back then. And he's grown and evolved, and I saw him the other day, and he looked like a 10-year veteran. He's in his 7th year, but he looked so confident. No wonder. You're checking these numbers out on him. He's got a little swagger. He should, because he's executing early. He wants a multi-year contract. He just signed for 1 year.
Shallow right. The wind will push it over toward the line. Avisail Garcia brings it down. And Derek Holland had an inning like the White Sox are running off the field. for the big story. Let's go to Fenway Park. This is Kevin Gausman hitting Xander Bogaerts with a curveball on the left leg, and home plate umpire Sam Holbrook threw him out of the game.
Well, there's a curveball. Come on, you don't retaliate against somebody and throw your softest pitch. You want it to hurt a little.
That was in the second inning, so your buddy Buck Showalter had to go to the bullpen in the second.
That'll burn your pin in a heartbeat. No wonder everybody was a little upset, but they've had some issues, and it's too bad that the issues weren't taken care of when they should have been.
Cody Asche out into right center field, and Kane catches up to it. The wind was really pushing that away from Lorenzo. Ian Kennedy allowed a 2-run home run to Jose Abreu in the first inning. On Friday, all he did was allow a 2-run home run to Miguel Sano. Otherwise, 5 1/3 innings, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts. He turned a 3-2 lead over to the bullpen, and Minnesota rallied late for the win. 1 out, and now Matt Davidson.
You know, that looked like a routine fly ball, but it really wasn't. Lorenzo Cain was playing him to pull Cody Asche, and that ball went up. He took 3 steps back thinking it was hit like Abreu's, and he covered all that ground and made it with no problem. Locane's got really nice skills and great speed. See where he is? He's playing all the way up. Now he took a couple steps back toward the middle, and he's able to cover that ground with his quick acceleration and long legs. He got skills.
One ball and 2 strikes. Rusty Kuntz, as we have learned, is as positive as any baseball person you're going to be around. But if you want to start to get him going about one player, talk to him about Lorenzo Cain and what he's developed into as a center fielder. Bat and ball go to the left side. Lorenzo Cain is athletic. He has great technique. He's smart. He's vocal. Everything that Rusty Kuntz would want in an outfielder, and he is the measuring bar now. I mean, when Rusty starts talking about center fielders, that person will be compared to Lorenzo Cain.
Yeah, when you use the word vocal, not just only in the clubhouse, but out there on the field, he takes charge. He's in total command. The center fielder has priority over everybody in the ballpark, excluding the fans. And so when that ball goes up anywhere in that, to his left and to his right, or even in, when he wants it, we can hear him up here in the booth. That's an important trait for an outfielder, especially with a rookie right fielder.
Still 1-2 on Davidson. Mentioned in the first inning, Todd Frazier, who really swinging the bat well lately, was the original third baseman for Rick Renteria, but he was scratched. So Davidson got the late call. And Rick Renteria went from one hitter who lost a 9-game hitting streak last night, and he had driven in 9 and scored 9 during that stretch, and replaced him with a hitter who is 0 for his last 17. He was 0 for his last 17.
Man, he's got to fix that location quick. White Sox mean business today.
So 2 home runs. Abreu with a man on in the first, and now Davidson with nobody on in the second.
And both of the pitches that were hit out of the park. Now this one was the changeup, and that'll speed a hitter's bat up. He did him a favor because before he placed it, he sped his bat up, and that's how he was able to get it. Davidson was badly missing his fastball, but they're both in the middle of the plate.
452 feet on the Davidson home run. Number 5 for him. Down and away to Soto. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, and lots of times when you see a ball that's hit in the air with some authority and you're not sure and you're watching the flight of the ball, just look at the outfielders. Take your eyes off the ball and look at the outfielders. They'll tell you if it's going out or not. If they're busting back to the wall, that means that, you know, it may not get out of the park, but if they just take a step and kind of just watch it, that means, you know, it's out of here. So both hit speeds, the Braves 113, Davidson's 110, and 28 degrees. If he had a lot more loft than Abreu, and 104 apex.
Two and two on Soto. Slow curveball, and Ian has his third strikeout. Coming up tomorrow night, the moment HUD has been waiting for since it was first announced. Zuba's Palooza. The Indians are in town tomorrow. It's a theme ticket, so you must purchase online at Royals.com/theme tickets. And that ticket will get you your Zubas. And now Yolmer Sanchez singles to right field. So the White Sox, first time through, have 2 singles and 2 home runs against Kennedy. And now the leadoff man, Tyler Saladino. He opened the game by looking at a called third strike. Typically with Saladino, you can just ignore his season numbers when he's facing the Royals. Snap throw to first, and Sanchez didn't even get into a slide. That's how badly he was picked off. And he's going to give the Royals a run for their money, to say the least. And finally, he just runs out of gas. That was a Gold Glove pickoff by Salvador Perez. Royals down by 3. Hosmer leads off the bottom of the second.
3-0. Royals going to have to get their hitting shoes on. Check out Salvi. Now, he may have just thrown out 1 of 19 this year on a direct steal, but that's his 19th career pickoff of a runner at first, and I mean, he was toast. I mean, burnt toast. He was out by a mile. Salvi, the 19th career pickoff, that's the most from any catcher since 2011.
Royals record, and 2011 was the year that Salvi made his big league debut. And in his big league debut, Salvi picked off 2 against the Rays in St. Petersburg. He almost picked off 3. Came very close to picking off a runner at second base. I've seen a hitter hit for the cycle, but I came very close to seeing somebody throw for the cycle that day in St. Petersburg.
I'm sure it's been done, but not very many times. But I like to see the footage of that, and we'll probably see it when we go to Tampa next week.
Yep.
Maybe we can find it. Good swing, just right at him.
So the White Sox had a pretty good scouting report there on Hosmer, with Saladino guarding the middle. Speaking of Salvi, the 2017 MLB All-Star Game ballot is here. Head to Royals.com/vote to choose your hashtag ASG worthy stars and send them to the All-Star Game July 11th in Miami. You can vote today, you can vote tomorrow at Royals.com. Holland's doing a good job in the first 2 innings of changing speeds on the Royals.
He's going to be tough to figure out. In order to beat him today, you're going to have to pick out a mistake if he makes one and not miss it.
How did he hit that pitch? It's an out. Was that a bat in his hand, or was that a golf club in his hand?
I don't know, but Holland, he's going to tease the guys like that. He's going to try to keep that ball down, that little breaker. And that's his idea. Like that, right off the end of the bat.
Look at Soto. He was going down to his knees to block it. So impressive. Not only that he made contact, but that he elevated that pitch.
And you know, he's using, at least he has this season, the slider and the curve almost the same amount of time. 23% for the slider, 20% for the curve. And we'll have to try to see if we can tell a difference. But both of them look kind of similar. I think the slider is supposed to be a little tighter of a break. He's going to mix them.
Into that crosswind. And another quick inning for Holland. He's thrown fewer than 20 pitches in the first 2 innings combined. For the third inning. Hope you'll come out on Saturday. The Indians are in town, and the first 10,000 fans through the gates receive a Royals coaster set courtesy of Price Chopper. So with the hot days coming up, good spot for your cold drink. A Royals coaster set. Royals.com, an area Price Chopper location, or 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. And if you're wondering about the pitching matchups, Royals will have Jason Hamill, Jason Vargas, and Danny Duffy. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the Indians, Danny Salazar, Josh Tomlin, and Trevor Bauer. Tyler Saladino was at the plate with 2 down in the second inning when Salvador Perez picked off Yolmer Sanchez at first. And now he hits it very high to left field. The wind will knock it down, so Alex just keeps charging, and he's got it for the first out. You know, the White Sox have hit 2 home runs today. Impressive in that they were line drive home runs, but I tell you what, that's what it's going to take with that wind. Anything high enough for the wind to grab it, you're going to really have to get into one. And both Abreu and Davidson hit drives underneath the wind.
Yeah, you know, we'll show you the location of those pitches, and I'm sure Kennedy would say, well, you know, they're out over the plate, but you got to give the hitter credit for hitting them. I can't tell you how many times I saw a fastball right down the middle. I popped it up or hit a ground ball. That's hit pretty well. Wind's going to catch it, though.
2 down.
Hot hitter last night. I'm going to say he's hot because the only run they scored was off of Abreu's bat, off of Strom last night on a breaking ball. Okay, so he's hot coming in here. He's not going to miss a pitch. Salvi wanted it up, and he missed by about 4 or 5 inches and threw it right down the middle. Short, compact swing. Man, I'll tell you, Abreu, he's some kind of hitter.
You and I have seen a lot of baseball games on television. That first replay from that center field camera right there, the ball off the bat. If we weren't here and we were watching that at home, did that look like a home run off his bat?
No.
That looked like a gapper.
Right. It's going to hit the wall or bounce off the wall. Oh, that's impressive. A grown man hit that ball. You'll hear a lot of guys in the dugout say that. See where Salvi is? He wants it up under the armpits. And see how short his swing was. Now, I love the 2-hand follow through. A lot of guys will go top hand release. There's different ways for different guys to hit. But he stuck it. You got a little bit more power, in my opinion, if you keep both hands on the bat, and then he dropped it. Very short swing. That's how you develop power, not the long swing.
Now to right center field, slicing away from Kane, but Lorenzo outruns the ball. And Kennedy gets 3 fly ball outs in the top of the 3rd.
Oh, man, it's beautiful to watch him run.
Lisa Beatty began volunteering with the Fox 4 Love Fund for Children, serving in many different roles. Currently, as president, Lisa has been heavily involved in the annual Thanksgiving dinner, which provides a meal for over 60 homeless kids each year, and the auction, It's in a Bag, which raises over $60,000 each year. Through all of Lisa's hard work, she has been able to help thousands of kids in the Kansas City community, and Buck O'Neill would be proud to have her sitting in his seat today.
Yeah, he would. Thank you, Lisa.
Bonifacio check swing. Sanchez is there, and Derek Holland has retired the first 7 Royals. Speaking of Buck, who was always smiling, but his smile always seemed to be a little bit bigger here at Kauffman Stadium for our annual salute to the Negro Leagues, and that's coming up on Sunday. The Cleveland Indians are here in town, and the first 15,000 fans through the gate will receive a Monarchs jersey presented by Fox Sports Kansas City. And make sure to come out to Kauffman Stadium wearing your Sunday best to honor the tradition of attending the Negro League games dressed to the nines. And we look forward to seeing Bob Kendrick on Sunday, who is holding up that Monarchs jersey for us.
That's always a special day.
0-2 on Alcides Escobar. Speaking of dressed to the nines, here's Joel.
Yeah, we got to get those good outfits going to compete with Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro Leagues Museum. He hosted some of the White Sox over at the museum today. Always good to hear when visiting teams pay a visit and learn about the history. Making that visit today was, or earlier this week, was manager Rick Renteria, Tim Anderson, and Todd Frazier. Frazier took a picture and posted it on Twitter, him and former third baseman Ray Dandridge, and he said just 2 3-baggers hanging out for the day. And then for Tim Anderson, he just talked in an article with Dan Hayes, a beat writer for the White Sox, covering the White Sox, that I'm really blessed after hearing some of the stories that the Negro Leaguers went through. Always nice to hear about some of the athletes and coaches getting that education and seeing the prize jewel here in Kansas City.
It's always great to hear when someone from a visiting team visits the Negro Leagues Museum and paying homage to both a proud institution and one that should have never existed in the first place. And Bob Kendrick does such a great job of hosting the groups that come through, and the expectations are high, it seems like, every time somebody visits. And Bob has a way of surpassing those high expectations.
Man, you better believe it. I wish I could tell stories like he can. He's got extreme storytelling skills, man, believe that. But it's special. There's only one museum like that in the world. It's right here in Kansas City. Man, Holland's going to be tough.
9 up, 9 down. There's a Monarchs jersey. 3-0 Chicago. began, and now some harmless clouds are over Kauffman Stadium, at least for the time being. After today, the Indians are here. Tomorrow night, Fox Sports Kansas City. Saturday, FS1, and then back on Fox Sports Kansas City on Sunday. All games are streaming on Fox Sports Go. White Sox have hit 2 home runs. Jose Abreu, a 2-run home run in the first, and Matt Davidson, a home run with nobody on in the second. Avisail Garcia grounded out to short his first time up. 1 ball and 1 strike. Moustakas tried to short hop it, and it's in and out of his glove. And that's an error on Moustakas.
Moose always aggressive coming after it, and sometimes it'll hit a dead spot. That's all it did. Hit the heel. That glove, you know, third base, he's got a nice big web on in the end of that glove. It's broken in. It's a beauty. It's just hitting the heel.
Bunted foul by Leury Garcia. Let's take a look at our University of Kansas Health System injury update. Another injury in the division. Ian Kinsler left the game in the 7th inning last night with left hamstring tightness. You never hope that another player gets injured.
No.
That was a missed bunt attempt, no balls and 2 strikes, and yet nobody seemed to be too disappointed the other day when Corey Kluber went on the disabled list, because the Indians are on their way here. And if the Tigers were on their way to Kansas City, nobody would be too upset about Kinsler going on the deal. He always seems to be at his best against the Royals.
Yeah, no, what that is a compliment. Uh-oh.
That got Garcia on the foot.
Hurt.
So that hurt him, and it hurts Kennedy. That was an 0-2 pitch. And so the White Sox are given 2 base runners with an error and a hit batter.
You know, the reason why Rick Renteria, the skipper of the White Sox, you see hit him right on that big toe, right on the toe. I mean, that'll really hurt you. Renteria wanted him to bunt the first 2 pitches because the way Holland's pitching, he only needs the runs he's got right now. So they just want to get him over in scoring position. Now this is unfortunate right here that it's got runners at first and second with nobody out. Chances to get an opportunity to score some more off Kennedy, unless he can strike some guys out and roll a double play.
So runners in scoring position, or at least a runner in scoring position, building a rally, but not so fast against Ian Kennedy. You go back to the beginning of last year, he is 5th best in the major leagues, buckling down with runners in scoring position. And he's one of the best over a longer stretch when you go back to 2011. So you think you have him on the ropes, but oftentimes that is not the case. And that's upstairs to Cody Ashe. Go back to 2011 and look at the pitchers in front of Kennedy. Clayton Kershaw, Felix Hernandez, Max Scherzer, Cole Hamels, Madison Bumgarner. And now Kennedy was just called for a balk.
Oh, no.
Did he disengage before he backed off the rubber? It was the home plate umpire Bill Miller making the call.
Ooh, man, now it's gonna be tough even tougher for him to wiggle out of this one. Yeah, he's standing right there. Yeah, it was. He moved slightly before he stepped off. He had a move towards home.
His glove hand.
Yeah. I mean, all it takes is just the slightest of movement.
One ball and one strike. Ashe flied out to center field in the second inning. That's past Hosmer and up the right field line. So an error, a hit batter, a balk, and the White Sox have 2 runs on 1 hit.
Curve over the plate, down, but bad luck. One hopper right past Haas. Ugh.
And it hit nothing but dirt. There was nothing to slow that ground ball down. If anything, it seemed to accelerate when it hit the dirt in front of home plate, and then when it hit the dirt just inside the line.
You know, if Kennedy's a fly ball pitcher, but if he was a ground ball type pitcher, I guarantee you Trevor Vance would have in front of that plate all watered down right there. So when it did bounce, it would take a softer bounce, and that happens. A lot of grounds crews will tailor make the field for the pitcher who's pitching that day. So it was, you know, it's already drying out, so it's good and hard. It took a big hop off that top hand swing.
Davidson homered to left center field in the second inning. He had been 0 for 17, 0 for his last 17 before that home run. Off the end of the bat, and now Davidson is 2 for his last 2.
Still nobody out.
Doesn't it always seem to be, Hud, that when a player who is not supposed to play ends up in the lineup last minute, whether it's a position player in there because someone else was scratched, or maybe a pitcher who thought he was going to spend the first 5 or 6 innings sitting in the bullpen, finds out, no, you have to start, the other guy got hurt. More times than not, that guy steps up.
He does, and I'll tell you why. You're all relaxed. You've already adjusted to the fact you're not going to play. In American League, no one pinch hits for anybody, so you're just taking a chill pill all day. And then at the last minute, when the manager calls you in the office or something, says, hey, look, you're playing. You're like, great. You don't have time to think. You don't have time to get nervous, get worked up, the anxiety, the butterflies. You just go out there and go, all right, this is a bonus day. Because lots of times anxiety will set in a player when he gets to the ballpark 3 hours, 4 hours when he gets there, and he's got all that time to think about it. Then he gets a little tight. So last minute like that, you're loose.
And now Mike Minor is working in the Royals bullpen with nobody out in the 4th inning. Soto. And Hosmer almost ended up with a double play without even trying. He was leaping in the air to catch it, and he almost landed on first before Davidson got back. Or landed on Davidson before Davidson got back. So 1st and 3rd, 1 out, and now Kennedy, the fly ball pitcher, will try to become Kennedy, the ground ball pitcher, and see if he can get Sanchez to hit it sharply at one of the infielders. fastball, and Sanchez is a little upset he didn't pull the trigger.
And Kennedy's, he's not going to change. He's going to keep challenging hitters. And that's okay, because that's what he's supposed to do right here. He wants to get a ground ball. It'd be nice to get out of the inning. Not much of a double play pitcher, though. He's a fly ball pitcher, like I mentioned. He has induced some ground balls, though. Double plays, 3 of them this year.
He'll be allowing his first unearned runs of the season in this inning. There's Ashe, the runner at third. He's driven in both of the runs with a double. White Sox have scored in 3 of 4 innings today. Sanchez late. Down to the count, 1-2. White Sox open the inning with runners at second and third and nobody out without a base hit, thanks to an error, a hit batter, and a balk. 2-2. Into the crowd. Big crowd today. A lot of it has to do with school day at the K. The 19th year of school day at the K, where area schools get a day off from the classroom, at least at their school. There's quite a classroom here as the Fox 4 weather team puts on great weather demonstrations before the game. The entire lower bowl and portions of the upper deck were filled up 3.5 hours before the game started.
Yeah, you know, coming in from 70 today, I saw the middle of the upper deck was full of kids, and I'm thinking, wow, they put all the kids up there this year. Then when I got in the ballpark, the whole lower level was full from pole to pole, and I went, wow, that's a lot of buses out there.
Ground ball to third. They're going to come to the plate. And Ashe is tagged out.
That's what you want to do. Take that out in front of you. As an infielder, you never know what you're going to do with the ball. I mean, you want to know, but until it's hit, that determines what you'll do. Now, fortunately, it didn't get away from Moose there, but 2 throw got him, and that play was given to him. Take what you can get right in front of you, and they're already up 5-0. You can't afford to give them any more, especially how good their lefty Holland is. Got a perfect game going against us.
So first and second, 2 down, and now Tyler Saladino bats for the 3rd time today. White Sox already have an unearned run in this inning as Avisail Garcia reached on an error. But now with 2 outs, this is bonus time for the White Sox. Without the error, the inning's over. Saladino is struck out looking, and he's flied out to left field. He has Davidson at second base and Sanchez at first. One and 2.
Man, 70th pitch thrown. That's a lot. You know, I guarantee you, as much as Moose does and the other fielders, that, you know, whenever they have a miscue, as much as they do offensively, believe me, they'll pick up that run support or that those runs that came in. Believe it.
Three and two. Melky Cabrera's on deck.
Reynolds will be moving. Salvador Perez step out in front of the plate and remind the fielders that plays at first base. If it hit to him. Just a reminder.
And a walk. So they're loaded up for Melky Cabrera. Dave Island begins to pace in the Royals dugout. Minor appears to be ready. He's just standing out on the mound and watching from the Royals left field bullpen. That's Ian's first walk. And he'll go back to the windup against Melky Cabrera. Melky hit a little bloop single to left field in the first inning, and then Jose Abreu followed with a 2-run home run. Got a break there. That pitch was way inside. 0-1.
Nice job by Salvi. Keep it from going to the backstop.
Oh, 2. Chicago with 2 in the first on the Abreu home run, 1 in the second on the Davidson home run, and Kennedy got the Sox in order in the third, and now 2 in the fourth on the Ashe double. 1-2. .30 pitches in this inning. And this will be number 77 in the game. Back to Kennedy, and that will lead Escobar to the bag, and the force on Saladino. So it could have been a lot worse. The air and the hit batter set up the inning, and Chicago adds 2 in the fourth.
Watch Eddie Rosario. Hey, even a left-handed hitter that plays left field for the Twins can go deep. We got third homer of the season. He's got some skills, but so far in the 6th inning, not enough. A's are up 5-3.
White Sox are ahead here 5-0. They've scored in 3 of the first 4 innings. They got an unearned run in the 4th. And now the Royals begin their 2nd turn through against Derek Holland, who is 9 up, 9 down against the Royals so far today. Witt takes a fastball for a strike. Holland struck him out with a changeup in the 1st inning. And it's 0-2.
Exactly what you want to do. Get ahead, stay ahead, put the pressure on the batter. And that's what Whitley's saying. Okay, what's coming? 0-2. Now he's on the defensive side. He's going to have to just shorten up a swing, try to put something in there.
Wow, look at that. First of all, he's only thrown 30 pitches, but 23 of them have been either in the strike zone or the Royals have taken a swing at it. The wind will push that into shallow right center field. Garcia makes the play, and now Holland has set down the first 10. Derek Holland, 30 years old, drafted by the Rangers in the 25th round 11 years ago. He won 16 games in 2011. He was only 24 when he accomplished that. So the Rangers signed him to a 5-year deal the next year, and then after that he had a tough time staying healthy. He had a 4-year stretch where he made just 40 starts. He had shoulder problems, knee problems. One and one on Moustakas.
I think he's a definite sleeper for their rotation. One of the reasons he's made 14 career postseason appearances, 5 starts, 3-1 with a little bit right at a 5 ERA. So he's got experience. He's got postseason experience, and he's got swagger. I told you, I just saw him a couple days ago, and he's carrying himself like he's dealing like he is now. I'm sure Donnie Cooper's helped him, but Donnie Cooper's pleased to have the lefty. They took a shot at him, just a 1-year deal, and they're not going to regret it. You got Quintana, Holland, Mike Gonzalez, you got Covey and Pelfrey. They got pretty good starters there. Covey's the young guy,
Rule 5 guy.
but they got decent rotation. Pelfrey looked pretty good till the 6th inning last night. They're going to be tough.
It's Gonzalez on the far right. He had a really good start against the Royals in Chicago. There's a base hit just inside the left field line. Moustakas down in the count, 1-2, goes the other way. And the Royals, with 1 out in the 4th, have their first runner.
Nice. Give the kids something to cheer for. Beautiful job of swinging right there. That's nice. Let the ball travel deep, and he just puts a good level swing on a fastball he got. And that is Mike Moustakas and what he wants to do. Now, I mean, the power homers are good when he pulls them. You know, you like that out of him, but that's going to keep him right by waiting and using that side of the field. Defenses we've seen now are playing the left-handed hitters to pull.
Saladino at short gets Kane. Lorenzo's 0 for 2. That was just the 2nd hit that Derek Holland has allowed to a left-hand batter this year. We showed you in the 1st inning how tough he is on lefties. The 2nd lowest opponent's batting average against lefties. That did not concern Ned Yost as he left Moustakas, Hosmer, and Gordon in the lineup today.
It's the sliders and curves that are getting him, and if you try to pull those, you're going to miss. So Moustakas to the right, even though it's a fastball, your approach has to be mentally opposite field in order to get back on Holland here.
Outside to Hosmer. Eric has a 7-game hitting streak coming into today. In his last 9 games, he's added over 50 points to his batting average. So it's still early enough where one good week can really make that batting average look better up on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's nice. You got till about 200 ABs, a little over 200, and then it kind of levels off. You got to get a lot of hits to raise that average.
I think that sums it up for a lot of young ladies in Kansas City. Good swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Just like I said, Melky's going to have to get in line.
At the moment, he has better access.
Sure he does.
There are frequent meetings at first base.
See if he can do a little 2-strike approach. That means shorten up. Nope, got him.
Holland has struck out 4. And he's retired 12 of 13 Royals in the first 4 innings. By Ford, going further so you can. By Panera. Panera caters for every group, every size, every meal. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all, for less. Some footage from earlier this morning. Fox 4 weather team led by Mike Thompson. School day at the K. Those great weather demonstrations on the field. And then the kids and their teachers and their parents get to stick around for the game. I was talking to Joe Loria from Fox 4, and we were talking about how much this event has grown over the years and how many kids come now. We were talking about that an inning ago. And they just seem to add all these really interesting demonstrations, not for the kids, for the adults. I find myself watching what they're doing on the field. And Joe was telling me that Mike Thompson begins working on school day at the K in November or December. I mean, that is his baby. He takes it very seriously, and it's a great show.
It is. And you know, as I understand it, they invented it right here. This is where they invented school day. Now, one of the best compliments you can get in baseball or anything really is imitation. And so other ballparks are trying to do the same thing, but they can't do this. We've watched them in Chicago last time we were there a week or so ago. They had school day at the K. They had one small section of kids, and they showed them stuff on the board. That's all they did. They didn't have any physical demonstrations like this.
Like blowing up trash cans and sending them 50 feet into the air.
And I'm not saying that necessarily that we're better, but we invented it here. That's where it all started.
We're better. I haven't seen a better. Have you seen a better one yet?
No, I haven't.
We had one in Detroit last year.
Yep. Okay. All right. Ooh, man.
Look at the wind. Grab that. That ball was on its way to left center field. Kane makes a play in right center field, and that just underlines what we were talking about when Abreu homered in the first and Davidson homered in the second. They were line drives over the fence. Anything hit high is going to have to deal with that. All right, you ready? Sprint trivia question. Which of these 4 players played the most seasons in the major leagues? Speaking of weather-related names, storm, flood, rains, and snow.
You guys are good. I'm going with 2 of those guys are my former teammates. 3 of them.
JT Snow, Tim Raines,
and Storm Davis.
Okay.
I'm going to say Rock.
Tim Raines.
JT won probably 5 or 6 Gold Gloves, though. He had a nice career. He had 6. He played to my left with the Angels. It's fun going up and
uh-oh. And Ian Kennedy is not waving Nick Kenny off. First thing he did was, it looked like, grab something on the inside of his knee, inside of his leg. Ned Yost is not going to mess around with that, and he points to the bullpen.
Well, let's take a look at the last pitch here. He's battling like he always does. He battles, and then he kind of got maybe some stiffness, a little tightness.
So a pitching change with 1 out in the 5th inning. Mike Minor to face Avisail Garcia. 5-0 Chicago. Chevy called to the bullpen with 1 out in the 5th inning. Count is 1-0, so it's his batter. So Ian Kennedy goes 4 1/3, allows 5 runs, 4 earned, gave up a couple of home runs, and now Mike Minor will try and keep it at 5-0. Avisail Garcia reached on an error by Moustakas, leading off the top of the 4th inning. And that was the beginning of Chicago's 2-run fourth. 1 ball, 1 strike. Leury Garcia then was hit by a pitch. After a balk, Cody Ashe drove in Garcia and Garcia. You know, we can always go back after a pitcher comes out in the middle of an inning with close-ups and high definition, and we can say, oh, okay, yeah, he had a look of pain on his face. 2 balls, 2 strikes, but at real speed and looking at him from a distance, oftentimes we don't notice anything. But Dave Island, he knows Ian Kennedy, knows his mechanics, knows his nuances. Nick Kenny, Royals head trainer, is like a hawk. I mean, he always keeping an eye on the pitchers every inning, and one little expression, one little change in mechanics,
a little twinge, a little twitch. Yeah, they're on it. And catchers too. Salvi, lots of times, you know, he'll notice something. But that's pretty obvious there when after he throws a pitch and grimaces, kind of goes, touches where it hurt.
Big curveball strikes out Garcia. Well, again, when you watch the replay and you're looking for something and you see that grimace, as you put it, you say, okay, sure, that was it. But I mean, let's face it, this is baseball, and every satire that has to do with a baseball player has some sort of adjustment in between swings or pitches. I mean, if that could have easily, that pitch could have gone by and nobody would have said a word. But
I know what you're saying.
Nick Kenny and Dave Island, they know what they're looking for, and so does Salvador Perez. I mean, they all at once were converging on Ian Kennedy after that pitch.
And here we are, you know, trying to answer the trivia question and kind of, you know, going about just watching the game and everything. And
right.
And Salvi's like, see if Salvi says anything. He's looking at him and he's sensing right now there's something wrong.
I mean, that could be just a guy, you know, who's giving up some runs. He's, you know, Ian wasn't at his best today. That could be a guy just falling behind 1-0, going to the back of the mound to talk it over.
No, he's saying, let's go, guys, come out. There's something wrong with him. See, Salvi knew.
I've just always found that fascinating. I mean, how well Salvador Perez knows the different personalities, the different nuances. The same for Nick Kenny, Dave Island, Ned Yost. Little things that go unnoticed by the rest of us.
Mike Minor, good fastball, slider, change. All of them good pitches. 90-95 with a fastball, and we lose Leury Garcia. Minor, I mean, he's a potential guy that could start. As they, you know, they've used him. April 30th, he went 2 2/3, and then on the 20th, also of April, he went 3 innings when Ned asked him to. At Texas, he went 2 2/3. You know, they probably could stretch him out. Let's see how far they do today.
That always seemed to be the goal when they signed Mike Minor. Finishing his rehab from shoulder surgery with the Royals. Appeared in just 10 games last year, 2 at AA, 8 at AAA, but I always figured that was the goal for him, and that's what he was with the Braves. Had an 11-win season with Atlanta. He had a 13-win season with Atlanta. A little bit outside to Cody Ashe.
And he's 6'4", 220. That's what you want. You want a guy who's durable, who can last. He's got 3 pitches. That's all you need. And he's strong. I'm surprised to see them take him at least 3 innings today, maybe 4. Let's see.
One and one. And while we're talking about Nick Kenny, when we were in Houston and the first trip of the season, I was talking to Mike about his shoulder surgery, and you know, because it bothered him for a couple of years before he had surgery, and he went in for all the MRIs and the x-rays, and they really couldn't find anything, but his shoulder hurt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Little things would show up, but nothing major. So when he had the surgery, it was basically exploratory surgery. You know, go in there and try and find something. They cleaned up a couple of things, but nothing that really was a definitive answer to his pain. But when he came to the Royals and got with Nick Kenny and Kyle Turner, Jeff Blum, Royals physical therapists, and they started strengthening the shoulder, doing different flexibility exercises, different strengthening exercises. And he said his shoulder feels as good now as it ever has. And that was with rehab, not with another surgery.
Right, and that bodes well for the Royals. He's got a nice arm.
On the ground to Witt. And that'll do it for Chicago in the top of the 5th inning. So Kennedy starts the inning. Minor finishes it. To the bottom of the 5th. Royals are down 5-0. Every Friday night home game, May through August, we'll have Buck Night and fireworks. All the hot dogs and peanuts you can eat for $1 a piece, presented by Price Chopper. And then summer fireworks after the game, presented by Popsicle and Price Chopper. First one is coming up tomorrow against the Cleveland Indians. Royals.com, an area Price Chopper location, or 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Royals have 1 base runner in the first 4 innings. That was Moustakas' 1-out double in the 4th. Down by 5. They need a rally started to get a leadoff man on, and up into the wind, up into the sun. Melky Cabrera gets Salvador Perez, who is 0 for 2. And Derek Holland, he had good numbers coming into today, but if there was one area that he would probably like to improve, would be taking care of leadoff hitters who were hitting .360 against him coming into today. 0 for 5 so far this afternoon, so he was pitching well, but under some stress, pitching out of the stretch quite a bit. Leadoff man getting on, not today. 1-0 on Alex. He flied out to center field in the 2nd inning. 1-1. Slider makes it 1-2. Alex, his version of arguing with the umpire is usually just snapping his head back. That's about it. He hardly ever says anything. And that's about what he did 2 pitches ago. Maybe he thought that was a little bit low, but Alex getting nose to nose with a home plate umpire in the middle of or after an at bat. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Three and two.
Yeah, no, he's all business. And, you know, respectful. I like that. That goes a compliment to his parents for his upbringing.
Five strikeouts for Holland. 2 down. Let's answer our sprint trivia question. Weather day at the K, and with last names or first names like storm, flood, rains, or snow, which of those 4 played the most seasons in the major leagues? We're both going with Tim Raines, right?
I think so. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer,
23.
Man. Yeah, what
wow.
You know, and I got to tell you that I was fortunate enough to play with 8 Hall of Fame players in my playing career, and he was one of the most impressive on and off the field. Off the field, his laughter permeated the locker room. He was fun. He made it relaxed. And for a tight guy like me coming in the ballpark, I'd hear that laughter, and I'm going, gosh, this guy's like a kid. He had a high-pitched laugh that I'll never forget, and I'm proud he's finally going in on his last year of eligibility.
It took a long time, didn't it?
Right. And I can't wait for that day either, because I have some souvenirs that he gave me. I'm going to show, like show and tell. I'm going to bring them in. I'm going to show them.
His son also made it to the big leagues, and they got to, just like the Griffeys, they got to play together in the same game on the same team in spring training. Griffeys did it during the regular season for 2 seasons, playing for Seattle.
Didn't the Griffeys hit back-to-back homers?
Back-to-back home runs in Anaheim off of Kirk McCaskill. Derek Holland has allowed 1 base runner in 5 innings. He has faced 15 today and retired 16. We start the top of the 6th. Let's go to Joel.
Well, Ryan, out here in right field and get a chance to take a glimpse of young Jorge Bonifacio, who is right over my shoulder. He's a good defender. He's had a couple adventures out here since beginning his big league career a couple of years ago. But talking to Rusty Kuntz about it, he said that Jorge has been working hard. One of the biggest adjustments, we saw it with Paulo Orlando. Hud, you've seen it forever. Ryan, too, is it's just a different type of atmosphere tracking a ball in the big leagues versus the minor leagues. First of all, the minor leagues don't have that upper deck, so the vision is different. And then this won't come into play today,
but at night we saw him lose a ball in the lights earlier this week. And Rusty was saying in the minor leagues, if you look at the light stands, there might be 12 to 20 bulbs in a light stand. But if you look up here, the large bank of lights, there could be up to 120 light bulbs, and it just takes longer to come out. And guys like Gordon are used to that. Guys like Bonifacio might not be. And then remember the other day, you saw him make that throw a little bit wide to third base to Cheslor Cuthbert. What Rusty said was, he has the great arm. He has the short, quick release like Gordon. Just needs to work on his footwork, but he wants to work every single day. And this one will have Alex Gordon working on it as he tries to block that sun and does so easily. But I thought it was interesting, Huddy talked about the fact that Bonifacio is a sponge. He comes in every day, turns to Rusty and says, player, what do you got for me today? And the other day when it was raining, he actually had Rusty throwing him ground balls on the carpet in the clubhouse just so he could work on his footwork.
Yeah, Joe, way to go. Good report, and you're exactly right. Big difference between minor league lights and big league lights. Not making any excuses for the young player, but look, they're legitimate. And especially in this atmosphere here in this bank, every ballpark's different with their lights. But the key is he's coachable. And he wants to get better. That's the key. He's hungry to learn, and that's going to continue him in his nice career he's going to have. I'm telling you, believe it. And it really helps to have somebody like Rusty. Somebody who cares about the individual. But their job as coaches are to prepare the players to have success. Yeah, we got a little issue going on here.
Royals going to challenge here. That Soto was not hit by a pitch.
It looks like it got him, but he didn't move his foot. Let's see. Wow, no,
that angle looks like it didn't hit him.
Right, and so here's the deal. Having been there, if that ball even nicks you, you're gonna flinch, or you're gonna act like it. I mean, it hit you. The fact that he didn't move,
that angle looked like it did hit him.
Right,
looked like it hit the dirt and then skipped up again.
But even if it gets you, you're gonna pull your leg up with a little gimp. You know what I'm saying? He did a heck of a job acting. Of course, he's a catcher, though. See, and catchers, they don't feel the same pain that any other player feels.
It's like
they're used to that all the time.
It's like a gnat running into his foot.
You don't even feel it. But this angle here, okay, they're gonna leave him on. Wasn't conclusive enough.
And just out of curiosity, call stands or call confirmed? I haven't said yet. So Soto still at first, one out. And now Yolmer Sanchez batting right-handed. Call stands. So the Royals are without their challenge, but can always ask for a crew chief review once we get to the 8th inning. You know, the other night we gave the White Sox credit with their approach against Danny Duffy. And Danny gave the White Sox some credit for their approach. They scored 6 runs on 10 hits against Duffy. And that's not the first time that the White Sox have done well against a lefty. They had trouble with Vargas in the first game of the series. 2-2 on Sanchez. But the White Sox have done quite well against lefties. They're 8-2 when the opponents start a lefty. 4 games under 500 when they face a righty.
And that's the best mark in the American League record-wise.
Minor gets a strikeout. That is his second. There are 2 down in the 6th inning.
Good slider.
Just got word from the Royals clubhouse. Mike Minor took over with 1 out in the 5th inning, as Ian Kennedy came out after facing 1 batter and throwing a pitch to the 2nd batter, and the report is a right medial hamstring strain. Right hamstring. Pulled foul outside of third base. 0-1 on Tyler Saladino. It looked like he was grabbing the groin area, although he's kind of looked like it was in between his groin and his knee, so I guess that would be more of the hamstring. He will be re-evaluated tomorrow. 0-2 on Saladino. Here's his last pitch today.
It's push off leg. Did a pretty good job of masking it anyway.
Saladino strikes out. Minor strikes out 2 in the top of the 6th inning. 5.5 played. Chicago still leads 5-0. Fourth be with you. Star Wars fans, they love today. Sonic Slam inning contestant is Ken Conkle from Lenexa, and if the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, Ken wins $1,700. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Ken wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. To this point, the Royals have 1 hit and only 1 runner. That was a 1-out double by Moustakas in the 4th. Derek Holland has retired 15 of 16 in his first 5 innings.
So last night they only had a couple of hits, and now today's they're reversing it. It's like it's been a chess match.
Garcia brings it down with 2 hands. Escobar is 0 for 2.
You know, last night we talked about how cold it was, you know, and I was trying to give you what a hitter likes. You know, that's the best choice when it's cold, is that pine tar rag, okay? And if it's warm, the motor stick right here, that's a sticky substance, and I told you it's gunky, and you thought that maybe that might not be a word. Well, I looked it up. Gunky is in the dictionary excessively slimy or dirty, pertaining to gunk, such as gunky tar. There you go. I didn't make the word up. I feel better now. I have made up some words. I'll tell you that I have, and I'm kind of embarrassed about that. But look, gunky is when it gets really hot. That thing just sticks on your bat, and you can't get it off. Thank you.
You know, if you wanted me to apologize, I would have done it before we went on the air today.
No, look, I just wanted to explain to whoever was watching the game last night that look, it's gunky, and that's not a good. You got to go change bats then, and then you can never get the substance off your bat. So you basically lose the bat. Gets sticky, that Mota stick. I love Mota. After the great man Mota, that ball's hit.
Melky Cabrera on the run, and it's down. Royals have their second hit. Cuthbert has a one-out double in the 6th.
Nice.
Sorry, Hud.
That's okay, Rhino. Look, it's all good. That's nice to hear the crowd. I mean, this ball had a lot of hang time on it. And Melky had a long run for it, and he was running out of gas as he got to it. Day after night game.
Melky's a little more gunky on defense than he used to be.
Well, you know, let me see. Excessively slimy or dirty. He got a little dirt on him there, a little Trevor Turf on him.
He played center field for the Royals when he was here in 2011.
Really?
Remember? Yeah, and it was a history-making year for the Royals outfield. Gordon in left, Melky in center, Jeff Francoeur in right. They all had 40 or more doubles, and that was the first time in Major League history that a team had 3 outfielders with 40 or more doubles, and Melky was the center fielder. I don't know what the advanced metrics said about Melky in center in 2011, but he did a fine job. Two 2-0 on Whit Merrifield.
You know, after the double there with 1 out, 2-0. Soto, the catcher, went right out there. They all ran out there thinking, okay, now look, now don't let this thing go on us. On you here. You're doing a good job. But you never know. Whitley can somehow find a way to knock in the run, get him going. Royals not doing very well with a runner in scoring position. They're just hitting 193. Witt's at 143. They could use to get those numbers up a little bit.
No swing. And it looked like Witt was reacting as if he thought he had swung. Watch him. Shaking his head at himself, and then looked over, and Kerwin Danley said no swing.
Sometimes you want to look away.
Pulled foul. He may have broken his bat. Nope.
A little too much top hand on that.
Hey, that little guy, he didn't catch it, but he brought his glove. Never know.
Look at that. He's pumped.
And then his older brother takes it away from him.
Yeah, and you know that ball boy down the left field line looks like a bald man. He's got a beard. Kind of, he looks like he's a boy, but he's.
Witt's not happy about that, or maybe he did think it was a strike. He was pulling away like he thought he was going to get hit. And Bill Miller says it hit the corner.
And we talked about it early when Holland took the mound, how good he's been inside against right-handers, and he found the corner there and got the call from Bill Miller.
So Cuthbert at second, 2 down, and now the other Royal who has a hit against Holland, Mike Moustakas. That'll be into the crowd behind the White Sox dugout. Hey, nice catch. Moustakas was down in the count 1-2 when he doubled just inside the left field line in the 4th inning. No balls, 2 strikes.
And that was what, just the 2nd hit all year Holland's given up to a lefty.
School day, weather day. It's also scream day at the K. The kids are making their voices heard. 1-2. Sanchez charges from the grass in shallow right. And for Derek Holland, 6 scoreless innings, allowing just 2 hits.
This afternoon at the K. Unfortunately, it was Abreu early. Man, he scalded that too, man. That ball was on the line and he hit it out of the yard. That gave him a little 2-0 lead early, 1st inning. And then there we were back in the 2nd. Right away it was Davidson. He hit a changeup out there and that ball took a drink in the fountain. And then in the 5th inning, unfortunately, and hopefully it's not real bad, we see Kennedy left the game in the 5th inning with a little bit of hamstring issue. Hope it's not too severe. And we're at 5-0. White Sox are handling the Royals so far. Got a few innings to come back. They hand the ball to Travis Wood.
Chevy called to the bullpen. Mike Minor went an inning and 2/3 after Kennedy was removed. Ten games, 6 1/3 innings for Travis Wood. He has walked 9. He's ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Base at center field for Cabrera. Melky's 2 for 4. Refreshing saves from Price Chopper and Aquafina. Sign up at mypricechopper.com to save on Aquafina when the Royals get a save. Second time Jose Abreu has come up with Melky Cabrera at first base. We just showed you the home run he hit in the first inning. In his last 10 games, including today, Abreu has hit 4 home runs. He has driven in 8, and he has scored 10 times. Curveball got away from him. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 2. Tweaked his right hand with that swing, and when a hitter hurts his hand or a wrist on a swing, it's usually missing an off-speed pitch. Too low. 2 and 2.
And if you're having any kind of issue in there in your hands and it keeps lingering, you're in trouble. You gotta set it out and let it cool off. There's too much going on to grip that baseball bat.
Base hit right field. Melky takes the turn and goes to third. Abreu digging for second, and he's in there with a double. Second and third and nobody out.
Boy, that's a hustle double right there. He's talented. Not only is a hitter, but he can run. He's a good athlete. Plays the game. Hey, I'll give you this for Rick Renteria. Just early in the season, these White Sox are totally different. I think he's been a big reason that he's got good he's got good body language, the manager. He's very positive, and he expects these guys to hustle, and they do. Especially this guy here. He's always hustled, this guy, Avisail Garcia. I've always been impressed with him. Gives 100 every time, 90 feet. And I see him sprint off the field. He gets it. He's happy to be out there. Wow.
1 run is home. Here comes Abreu, and 3 batters into the 7th inning. White Sox have 2 more runs and they lead 7-0. You know, I was listening to Hawk Harrelson's interview with Joel yesterday during the pregame show. He made an excellent point in that when a new manager arrives, if you start praising him, it sounds like you're tearing apart his predecessor, and that's not always the case. But priorities change when you make moves. Ozzie Guillen was volatile. I mean, he was very entertaining. He led the White Sox to a World Series, but by the end, you know, the players were rebelling against him, and Royals might turn 2, and they do. 6-4-3. So with that double play, McDouble sandwiches are only $1 tomorrow. The McDouble play all season long at participating McDonald's in the greater KC, St. Joe, and Lawrence areas.
So just because we're giving Renteria a little love doesn't mean anything against Robin Ventura.
Well, I mean, but Robin Ventura was what the White Sox needed at that time. They needed someone who was really good with people. I mean, he had great people skills. But the feeling was that maybe in 2017 the White Sox needed someone who was a little more familiar with the advanced metrics, you know, connecting more with young players these days. I mean, the real good ones like Joe Madden, like Rick Renteria, like Ned Yost, who will admit that he's had to adjust to the players instead of the players adjusting to him.
Bruce Bochy,
Mike Scioscia. You know, guys who've been doing this for a long time. They're good baseball guys, but they also know how to adjust to what the game's doing today. Good talk, Hud. 7-0 White Sox.
Talking to you.
Joel Goldberg back at the K. Our showstopper takes us to the nation's capital. We have seen this for many years. Back when he was in the division playing for Detroit, Max Scherzer in command against one of his former teams, the Diamondbacks. 11 strikeouts on the day and just 2 hits. Ryan and Hud, you were talking about managers and Hawk Harrelson, and one of the other things he told me off camera the other day was that he feels like wins don't measure a manager. Wins and losses measure a general manager, but you measure a manager by what they get out of the players. And he felt like Ned Yost got the most out of his players in winning the World Series. He thinks Joe Maddon might be the best they have, and that one of Hud's former managers was the best at the time in a different way, Billy Martin.
Better believe that, but don't leave out Joe Torre. He's a Hall of Fame manager. That guy was good too, man. He was one of the best communicators, Joe. And I'll tell you now, Joel, Billy Martin, having played for Billy and Joe Torre both, I can tell you that Martin, he intimidated. I was a rookie and young, and he didn't like rookies at all. So he stood behind me when we took ground balls during infield practice and just stood there and watched, tried to intimidate me. And he, you know, but once you got on his side, once you got on his good side, then you were in. But I'll tell you, it took a little bit of. He asked me one day, we're gonna he called me off for a pinch hitter, batting ninth. I get down there, I put my bat, I took my helmet off, and he looks at me, he goes, "Oh no, the runner ended up getting on base. Can you bunt?" And I said, "Sure, I can bunt. Where do you want it?" He goes, bunt it to the first baseman." So I said, "Okay." So I got up there. A guy named Nunez was pitching for Seattle, threw 95 and hard. First pitch in on my hands, I tried to bunt it. It went right over his head in the dugout. And I'm looking at Billy, and my eyes get to Billy, and he's going, "Get the blanket ball down." He's yelling at me. And so next pitch, same thing. Foul it right over his head, 0-2. Now it's 0-2, and I'm looking at him, and he goes, "I don't care where you bunt it. Just get the ball down." So I stepped out of the batter's box, told myself, had a little talk. He's trying to intimidate me. Watch this. I'm gonna bunt it down the third baseline. 0-2. Here it comes. Same pitch. I bunted down the third baseline. They couldn't make a play on it. I ran through the base hit. They didn't even make a play. I come walking back to the bag, and I looked at him trying to intimidate me, and I went, and I spit.
Really?
I made a gesture to spit at him.
Now, I'm not encouraging young people to do that,
please,
by the way.
Don't do that. But I could feel his intimidation. He was the kind of guy. But then after that, I was his buddy, man. He followed me around.
So he respected that.
He did.
Okay.
But please don't think that you should do that, because that's not proper. But that's a story about a manager that. But sometimes you just had to. you just had to kind of let him know that I can do what you want me to do. I'll get the job done for you. But I remember that was a big step for my confidence. Oh,
Foul. Kerwin Danley thought about it for a while. Eric Hosmer is surprised. Now that is reviewable, because that ball was not on the ground, it was in the air, and it passed first base. So isn't it beyond the umpire?
Look at Kerwin now. Kerwin. And it might have landed foul, but it's once it's before it gets to the base, did it go over the bag?
Well, no, that only if it hits the ground first. That didn't hit the ground, so it's just whether it lands fair or foul or not.
Okay.
He stood there and he stared at it. He thought about it. So Hosmer goes the other way and drops it into left field. Kane is going to go first to third.
Now, that is what Hawk Harrelson calls a Kansas City special. Instead of a doinker or a blooper, that's a Kansas City special. Haas just drops it right out there in front of Melky. Kane could read it. Got a little something going here. Bottom of the 7th inning. They got some time, but they're going to have to peck away here. Maybe they can get some action up in that bullpen, get Holland out, who's pitched a heck of a game.
First time they've had more than one runner in an inning. Royals got their first runner with 1 out in the 4th, their second runner with 1 out in the 6th, and now 2 on and nobody out in the 7th. And now the crowd screams. Salvador Perez steps in. Going for it all, and he missed a changeup. 0-1.
Nobody out. Little things first. Now that right side's wide open for just a little drubber. Right anywhere you want to just kind of put a little worm burner right over there, it'd be fine.
Garcia puts his hand up to shade his eyes from the sun. The Royals will get their first run. The leadoff walk to Kane turns into a run. Salvador Perez drives him in at 7-1.
Yeah, there you go. That young man saying thank you. They want to see a run across the plate. Salvador Perez shortened up that swing a little bit. Kind of kept his head in there on him. Got one across now. His hit in this inning was just the 3rd all day off of Holland.
Outside to Gordon. 0 for 2 so far today with a strikeout.
Anyway, I would never ever make a gesture like that toward a manager and spit towards him, especially Joe Torre or any of them. But because Billy Martin had a style like that he challenged me, and I could feel him, and he was constantly on me, pressuring me, that's what came out of me.
Well, he was a bully. I mean, let's be clear, right? I mean, he was a bully, and that's how you deal with bullies.
So when I heard from other people when they traded me, they said that Casey Stengel loved Billy Martin, and then I was like Billy, and so Billy took a liking to me. But unfortunately, as he gets hit and breaks a record right there.
79th time that Alex Gordon has been hit by a pitch as a Royal, and that is a new franchise record. So that ball will be authenticated, and Alex can display that baseball in his medicine cabinet next to the Tylenol and the Advil.
Yeah, and you see he looked at it, look, and he's just, you know, he probably just say they tape an aspirin on it. No big deal.
Now Don Cooper out to have a visit with Derek Holland. 4 Royals have come up in this inning. 3 have reached. He's only at 84 pitches with 1 out in the 7th. This also gives the bullpen some time to begin warming up. Alex had been tied with Mike McFarland for the franchise record at 78. Royals Charities broadcast auction was supposed to be last night, but because of the uncertain weather, it was moved to May 17th. So the Royals will be hosting the Yankees that night, right here on Fox Sports Kansas City. For more information, visit royals.com/broadcast auction. Bonifacio takes a strike. It was very clear when Alex got to the big leagues, and even before he became all-star caliber, that he was not afraid of the baseball. And I remember asking him, did you get hit a lot in college? And he grinned. And his coach at Nebraska, Mike Anderson, like a lot of college coaches with 2 strikes, would tell the hitter, hey, get a little closer to the plate. You make the strike zone smaller. And, you know, if you're down 0-2, 1-2, you get hit. Well, now you've got a free base. And so Alex started that approach in college, and now he's the Royals' all-time leader in being hit by a pitch.
Interesting. I like that.
Squirted out to first, and the play is to first. Abreu takes it unassisted. Hosmer goes to third, and Gordon to second. So 2 in scoring position for Alcides Escobar. White Sox have a very good bullpen. At least their bullpen has performed well in the first month. So this is a big matchup right here. If Escobar comes through, then the Royals are down by 4 with 6 more outs on offense. If Derek Holland comes through, now the Royals are down by 6, and they come to the plate with nobody on in the 8th inning. Down and away, ball 1. Eske is struck out and flied out to center field.
Yeah, Eske doesn't want to try too hard here. Just try to put something out there and find a hole. 4 for 11 in the series. He's starting to pick it up a little bit, and it's because he's hitting the ball on the ground and finding some holes.
Breaking ball pulled foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. One among other struggles for the Royals in the first month was scoring with 2 outs. And the Royals had the fewest runs scored in the major leagues with 2 outs, but they have really turned that around over the last week. On the ground to third, Davidson. It went off of his glove. 1 run scores. So it's 7-2. That's an error on Davidson. Got a little quick on a ground ball hit his way, and the Royals are still breathing.
That helps. He came in to try to pick it on the short hop, but looked like he got the top of the hop. The top of the hop is the tough one there, and it's hard to judge that one. You want to continue to try to stay through the ball, and he missed it. Took advantage of it.
Todd Frazier, their regular third baseman, who was scratched right before the game today, and Derek Holland is going to come out of the game. He was just staring at his manager, Rick Renteria, for Renteria's first 10 or 15 steps. He does not want to come out. He's at 91 pitches.
Look at him. He's going, go, Skip. Come on, man. That's all right. Go get him. That's good attitude. There you go.
And he pats Davidson on the back before he leaves the mound.
Yeah.
solid innings for Derek Holland, allowing 2 runs. 1 is unearned. And Anthony Swarzak, who has the 3rd longest consecutive scoreless inning streak in the major leagues. Former Royal Wade Davis in front of him, and Andrew Miller way out in front with 26 consecutive scoreless innings. Swarzak comes on with Gordon at 3rd, Escobar at 1st, and Chesler Cuthbert at the plate. First pitch swinging, routine to right field, and that'll do it. So the air leads to 1 additional run. The Royals get 2 in the 7th, and Chicago still leads by 5. Five-run lead. The Indians are here tomorrow night, which you can watch on Fox Sports Kansas City with coverage beginning at 6:30. Saturday's game is a mid-afternoon game on FS1, and then back to Fox Sports Kansas City on Sunday afternoon, and that's the end of the current homestand. Jason Hamill against Danny Salazar tomorrow. Jason Vargas and Josh Tomlin on Saturday. Danny Duffy and Trevor Bauer on Sunday. Cleveland was scheduled to play at Detroit today, but that game was rained out. Travis Wood came on in the 7th inning and gave up 2 runs. In the 8th, he'll get Davidson, Soto, and Sanchez, lower 3rd of the White Sox order. Oh, and 2. Fouled back into a crowd of 36,525. Many of those thanks to school day at the K, and a lot of the youngsters now are being escorted back to the school buses as the normal school day is winding down. Some get to stay later.
Raised Royal.
Still 1-2 on Davidson. White Sox scored 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 7th. 5 runs charged to Ian Kennedy, who left in the 5th inning with a hamstring strain, and 2 charged to Travis Wood. In between Kennedy and Wood, Mike Minor pitched an inning and 2/3 scoreless.
You know, did you say that Matt Davidson, when he made his debut last year, he broke his ankle or something, or got injured?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I asked him about that. You know, it wasn't your major league debut, but it was your White Sox debut. Were you bummed or disappointed? And he goes, No, as a matter of fact, I wasn't. I said, really? How come? He said, because the birth of my first child was going to happen any day that day, or any day the next couple days, and I got to spend time and be with my family. And I knew it, so I wasn't bummed out at all. And I said, hey, it makes sense. He was excited about his family.
One way to look at it.
Yeah, it's positive. He's taking the high road.
Davidson's on with a leadoff walk. MLB.com At Bat is your #1 mobile app for live Royals baseball. You can customize At Bat to stay close to the Royals with home screen icons, live scores, news, stats, video highlights, radio broadcasts, and more. But you have to share it with your friend. MLB.com At Bat. Great app.
Just what they're doing right now.
Did you see Ian Kinsler went on the disabled list today? That's what they're talking about. A couple of Royals fans from Columbia, Missouri. They watched Ian play for the Tigers, following his career very closely. And
we're looking at the daily news and highlights.
Also, Max Scherzer, another MU Tiger. 11 strikeouts today. Or maybe they're just keeping up with the Kardashians.
I don't know.
3-1 on Soto, and now it gets through Salvi. And Davidson, he thought that it was a given that he'd get second base, and he was starting to slow down and then went in standing, and Merrifield almost tagged him out.
And I told you, you know, in last night's game, now Ned thought he was going to replay it, but they're not. Pedro Gaffal, the catching instructor, wants Salvi to throw all the time, even if the guy gets a great jump. So he's just doing what he's told right there, and it almost paid off because of replay. Just throw it. Never know if the guy's going to take a foot off the base or something, and he's sliding and he's getting up and he's not on the base. I mean, replays changed a lot of the slides. And around the bases.
Smashed his bat. Soto's a slow runner, and because of that, Escobar still has a chance to throw him out. Davidson goes to third. Yolmer Sanchez with the runner at third, one out. Royals will bring the infield in all the way on the right side, halfway on the left side. Kane gets behind it. Davidson tags. Kane's throw is to the first base side, and man, only with hands like Salvador Perez does that become a play.
I agree, man. What a pick. Lo Kane knows that you got no chance on that play if you can't throw it on the third base side of home plate. But he did everything fundamentally correct. Got in back of the ball, just pulled it a little. He pulls it a hair, but you can see Salvi how he contorted his body just to even make it close.
Strike to Saladino. 9 out of 10 times that ball skips by the catcher and nobody says a word, because you're not expected to with a backhand swipe like that, especially with a catcher's glove, have it stick in the webbing.
He has a great feel.
Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. White Sox have 8 runs on 9 hits. They've taken advantage of walks and errors, hit batters, balks today. And now Saladino is on with 2 outs. He'll get an infield single.
Royals having trouble during the day so far this season. They're 1-8 in day games. Hard to figure.
Melky Cabrera for the 5th time today. 2 for 4, 2 singles, 2 runs scored. White Sox have scored in 5 of 8 innings today. No big inning, as in 3 or more runs. Just 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 7th, and 1 here in the 8th. One and 2. Slow breaking ball, 68 miles an hour. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Wood's got some trick pitches. There's no doubt about it. He's going to cut the fastball into righties. You try to use both sides of the plate. Slow curve, change, slider.
Full count. 42 pitches thrown by Travis Wood in an inning and 2/3. Caught by Moustakas. That ball's hit hard. The leadoff walk turns into a run to the bottom of the 8th, and now the White Sox lead by 6. We go to Houston with the roof open, and that is Rougned Odor hitting his 5th home run of the year off of the Astros' Joe Musgrove. That was in the 1st inning. And the Rangers lead 6-3, hoping to avoid a sweep in Houston this afternoon.
And he takes a gangster hack.
He does.
Oh, man. He don't get cheated.
Anthony Swarzak got the last out of the 7th. Throws a strike to Whit Merrifield. Houston has a 4.5 game lead over the Angels. Everyone else is under 500. Seattle, Oakland, and Texas is in last place. They're 8 games back. They're in worse shape than the Royals. The Royals are 5.5 games back. Toronto's 9 games back in the East. Atlanta's 6.5 back. No one really expecting anything out of them, at least not this year. San Francisco is 6.5 games back in the West. One and 2 on Whit. You know, I noticed about Odor when we were in Texas. You know, he's not swinging the bat well when we were there. But you know, he makes an out, turns around, runs back to his dugout. You know, didn't hang his head. Plays with a lot of energy. Ball gets away from Soto. Whit didn't notice it right away. Soto down to first to complete the strikeout. One down in the bottom of the 8th. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals. School day at the K, and the kids are, many of them are heading home. David Holmberg is called up by the White Sox, jogs in from the right field bullpen. 8-2 Chicago. Wow, easy,
right.
buddy.
Yeah. You know, get it out.
That?
Get it out. He'll sleep quick and early tonight.
All right. David Holmberg is called up from AAA Charlotte. Nate Jones was placed on the disabled list, so he comes on to face Mike Moustakas. 1 out, nobody on. Holmberg is making his White Sox debut. He's pitched in the big leagues with Arizona and Cincinnati. And it's been 2 seasons since he's pitched in the big leagues. High in the air to the right side. And Abreu in foul ground. 2 down in the bottom of the 8th.
Holmberg. He's going to feature a fastball, not overpowering. His upper 80s, low 90s slider, curve, and his changeup is his best pitch against right-handers.
He is actually back home, so to speak, with the Chicago White Sox. He was drafted by them in the 2nd round in 2009, and then the next year was traded away. So the plan all along was for David Holmberg to pitch for the Sox, but traded to Arizona in 2010, traded to Cincinnati in 2013. Spent part of 2015 in the Braves organization, and then signed by the White Sox. 2-1 on Lorenzo Cain.
Have left arm will travel. Any of your boys still left-handed? Yeah.
2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Sarah's also left-handed. So,
Okay.
as am I. So they've got that working in their favor.
It is.
How about you? Any lefties?
I had one, and he was 2 years old, throwing left-handed and batting left-handed, and I made him throw right-handed.
You did?
I did.
Will or David?
William. Now David bats left-handed. They both throw right, but I probably shouldn't have. But I just wanted him to have more options. So I just put the ball in his right hand. I mean, I didn't force him. I didn't tie his left arm behind his back or nothing. I just wanted him to have more options to play different positions. You know, he could play all over. He could play anywhere on the diamond if he was a baseball player. He turns out he is a player. But I kind of kicked myself a little bit about doing that. Don't have too many regrets being a father, but that's one of them. Yours are young. That's a gapper.
1 hop off the wall. Lorenzo stops at second base with a 2-out double.
That's a beautiful swing there. Oh, Locane last year, he raked left-handers over 340. You know, that's a looked like a changeup. Well, it was fastball, 89 miles an hour. Good swing, good form.
Royals have only 4 hits today, but 3 have been extra base hits. 3 doubles, which during the run was Royals baseball. A lot of doubles. But that's an area where the Royals really need to improve. They entered today last in the major leagues in doubles.
I'm sure they'll heat up, and then they'll pick that up because they've got still have an overall good team speed, and these guys aren't old. They're just getting into their prime.
Hosmer has the 1 hit that was not an extra base hit. He singled and scored in the 7th inning. And now he's hit safely in his last 8 games. This series has really been highlighted by some excellent starting pitching. Going back to the first game of the series, Jason Vargas, 1 run in 6 innings. Royals win it 6-1. Game 2, Jose Quintana for Chicago, 8 innings, no runs. Chicago wins 6-0. And there's Nate Carnes next to Jason Vargas. Last night, 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs. Royals won 6-1. 3-2 on Hosmer, and now today, Derek Holland, 6 2/3, 1 earned run. Haven't had a close game yet. 6-1, 6-0, 6-1, and right now 8-2, make it 8-3. So Hosmer has a 2-hit game. Kane scores for a second time today. And with 4 outs to go on offense, the Royals are down by 5.
Very nice job. That ball's up and in on his hands, and Haas, you know, he's starting to figure out that left side of the infield. That's exactly what he wants to do. Very good. You know what? You're a middle of the field to left field type of hitter. Stay with your strength. Good job. Take that belly punch.
Inside to Salvador Perez. 0 for 2 today with a sacrifice fly. Hit well to the opposite field, but a tough day to hit at Kauffman Stadium with the strong wind, and Garcia makes a running play going into the corner. The Royals get 1. We go to the 9th. Looks like we'll see Kelvin Herrera. 8-3 Chicago. Two home runs, and their first home run came 3 batters into the game today.
Man, I'm
Honda play of the game.
It was, excuse me. Ball was stepped on, man. Grown man hit that. And that was Abreu's 4th on the season.
King Richard, Queen Sam. Doesn't matter what the score is. They've got a sign ready.
I like
here
him.
he is, Kelvin Herrera.
So happy they're here. They make the game a lot more fun with their signs. Hadn't gotten a lot of work. Just 9 innings. Got to get a little bit of action out there, though. And fastball, changeup, slider. Has some of the best stuff in baseball. 98 used to be 100. Used to we see that, you know, when he was, you know, 5 years ago we see 100, but he's good at 97, 98 right now. He's got a very strong, blessed arm. Says that he gets that gift from his family. It's inherited. Said his dad had a strong arm, his grandpa had a strong arm, and he said, I have a strong arm. And he's just been blessed enough to make a living using it. Ooh. He just struck out one of the best and hottest hitters in baseball. Look at he, and Abreu's looking back going, yeah, that's pretty good. Occasional slider, and that's perfectly placed. You don't want to leave anything out over there, but that had him way off balance. See, that's the key right there. That's what pitchers want. Get the hitter off balance. Had Abreu looking at him like, what the heck was that?
Avisail Garcia has also driven in 2 today. And he shoots it through the right side for his 2nd hit. And the White Sox 11th today. After the game, stay with us for Boulevard Royals Live with Joel. Get an update on Ian Kennedy, who left in the 5th inning today with a strain to his left hamstring. We opened today talking about how the Royals appear to be headed in the right direction offensively, in particular Eric Hosmer, who has 2 more hits today, an RBI, a run scored, as well as reaction from the Royals clubhouse. Want to know on Leury Garcia. One and one. Right by him at 97. 1 and 2. Still 1 and 2. This is Kelvin Herrera's 12th season in the Royals organization. Made his big league debut in 2011. So, you know, we was talking about Eric Hosmer got called up in 2011. Salvador Perez, Mike Moustakas. Kelvin Herrera also made his big league debut in 2011. And with his first big league pitch, he hit a batter.
Ooh. That's not good.
Right here against the Tigers, he hit Ryan Rayburn with his first pitch.
Ooh, was it his fastball, I wonder?
Probably.
Oh.
I would imagine that was the first pitch that he threw as a big leaguer, his fastball.
And I'm sure it probably was around 100. Didn't feel good.
That one was at 99. Next year, he got his first big league save against those same Detroit Tigers.
I remember him taking some early lumps in 2012. And was it in Atlanta where they went back-to-back home runs on him in a couple of big situations? He didn't hang his head.
He had an impressive streak the year before. It was, I think it was 2013, the year you're referring to.
All right, I
When
remember.
the Royals were in Atlanta, but in In 2012, which was his first significant season in the big leagues, he went 84 1/3 innings. And he gave up 4 home runs. He did not allow a home run after April 24th in 2012. But then the next year is when he started having trouble with the long ball. 2 down. Avisail Garcia moves up to second base.
It's going to be a learning curve for any pitcher anytime, but especially when you throw that hard. You have success in the minors. You're blowing it by guys that can't catch up to it. You get up here and they love that heater.
And if I recall, HUD, a lot of those home runs were hit off of his changeup.
Yep, I remembered he's just learning about where to locate that pitch.
Mm-hmm.
They were belt high. He found out right away that he's not going to be able to leave that pitch there up at this league.
He has a really good changeup, and yet that's a pitch. If there's any doubt in the back of your mind, if you're not throwing it with 100% confidence,
conviction. Yep.
Broken bat, and Witt goes out into shallow right center field, and Herrera has a scoreless top of the 9th inning. Last call for the Royals, down by 5 to the bottom of the 9th. Fred White used to say, if you want to dream a little bit, as the Royals are down by 5 going into the bottom of the 9th today, how about May 28th right here at Kauffman Stadium? The Royals were down 7-1 to the White Sox going into the 9th. They scored 7 to win, and Brett Eibner with the walk-off. Eibner had 2 hits in the inning. It was his first week in the big leagues. Drew Butera hit a game-tying double. And the game-tying double and the game-winning hit came against this guy, Tommy Kahnle. And he'll get the bottom of the 9th. Alex Gordon, Jorge Bonifacio, and Alcides Escobar. Kahnle has excellent numbers in his first 10 appearances. And the White Sox bullpen has excellent numbers to begin the year. They have the 3rd best bullpen ERA in the major leagues. Outside at 97 miles an hour. Alex is 0 for 2. He's also been hit by a pitch, establishing a new Royals record, plunked for the 79th time in his career, passing Mike McFarland. 98 miles an hour and high. 2-0.
White Sox pitching coach Johnny Cooper, he raves about this young man here. Thomas Cannell, 90 to 98. Good hard heater. Kahnle, excuse me. Kahnle. He's got a changeup too, and that's his second best pitch. So fastball, changeup really is all he needs, but he does have a little wrinkle for a slider.
Three and one. Royals were scoreless for the first 6 innings. All that against Derek Holland, and they broke through against Holland in the 7th with 2, and then added a run against Holmberg in the 8th. Well, there's the start. Leadoff man on with a walk in a 5-run game. So the Royals will take that. Don Cooper can't be very happy from the White Sox side. 5-run lead and a leadoff walk.
It's a little powwow. Derek Holland, who started this game, he's out there on that bench rooting his guys on. He's not inside. Probably already got done with his icing if he does ice. Some guys don't, but yeah, with Pelfrey, Frazier, talking about maybe what they're going to do in Baltimore when they get in tonight. I know what we'd be doing. Going to the Crab House.
That's right.
Be too late.
I think we've got a shot to make it this year. One and one on Bonifacio. Let's see, when do we go to Baltimore? We are in Baltimore
early August,
late July, flying in from Boston. Davidson, who has an error tonight, fields that one cleanly, and the White Sox turn a double play. Bill's Terrace Inn in Essex, Maryland. That's our Crab House.
It's really good. Whenever I leave there, my hands are always cut up from all the crab.
That's right. Cracking open the.
Yeah, but it's delicious. They put a bib on you. They have paper on the tables. Bring in buckets of crab. You just go at it. Spend all evening.
.98 and high to Escobar. Two balls, no strikes. Tomorrow night, Royals and the Cleveland Indians. Jason Hamill against Danny Salazar. Two and one. Three balls, one strike. And the Royals have their work cut out for them. Falling back to 9 games below 500. And if they're going to turn things around quickly, you may as well start against the Indians. The Indians have won 11 of the last 13 season series with the Royals. Hold foul, 3-2 on Escobar. We'll see if Cleveland reacts to losing Game 7 of the World Series at home the way the Royals did in 2014 and turned it into a World Series championship. Used that for motivation. The Royals won 95 games after losing Game 7.
Well, we'll get into more of that this weekend when they come, but you know, will it tax their arms? You know, their pitchers. There's some great starting staff they have. Look at her. She's thrilled to be here today. Nice. I'll hold it for you.
Yeah, because she's going to throw it back. That's what Dad said. Three different White Sox called for that. And the center fielder Garcia brings it down. The Chicago White Sox earn a